students, I hope you are all doing well. Last week we have done with the flower arrangement practical. We have learned a lot of flower arrangement types and different tools and equipments. Today a very interesting topic, and more than that a challenging task for the housekeeping department, especially for the laundry people, called as stain removal. What is a stain? Stain is a discoloration caused on any kind of a fabric or any kind of a surface. We all have seen different kinds of stains forming on the floors. So we have learned in the first year how we have to clean the stains by using different chemicals. Today we are going to learn how to remove the stains on the fabrics. As we all know, the hotel guests will be coming to the hotel to stay, and also they will be giving us the soiled clothes for washing or for dry cleaning or for pressing. But if any stains are formed on the fabric, it is the duty of the laundry personnel to have the stains removed. Now, who will be doing the stain removal? The spotters, the person who is tasked to and trained to do the stain removal is called as a spotter. They will be motivated and trained to remove the different kinds of stains on the guest fabrics and the hotel clothes to ensure that the fabrics are not damaged. Now, proceeding on to the procedures to how to follow the stain removal. First one is identify the stain. Second one, classify the stain. Into which category does it fall? Third one, select the reagents to be used and select the procedure to be used. And finally, proceed step by step to remove the stain. Now, we will be going on to how to identify the stain. As I told you, I clearly told you, identify the stain. But how do you identify? Because the guest is not able to tell when the stain was formed and which stain was that. So after 24 hours or after 48 hours, the guest has realized that there is a stain on the garment. So he will be calling up the laundry people to request for the stain removal. Now, based on the color of the stain, location of the stain, texture and the smell, there are 4 ways of identifying the stain. Once again I am repeating. Color. Based on the color, shoe polish is obviously black or brown in color. Ballpoint, either blue, black, red or green. Curry, it can be yellow, brown. And you have tomato ketchup, it is always in red color. So things based on the color, we can easily identify the stain. Second thing is based on the texture. Now texture, candle wax, chewing gum and curry. So based on the texture, we can easily identify the stain. Third one is smell. If you are not able to make out the stain by the above 2 methods of color and texture, the third one is obviously smell. So you can just touch it and you can smell it with the fingers. Easily you can make out whether it's a coffee stain or it's a tea stain or it is any other stain. And the fourth one is very important, the location. It makes our job much simplified based on the location. Example, ballpoint. Ball pens are put up only in the pockets. So generally the ballpoint stains are obviously formed on the base of the pocket. Second example is shoe polish. When the guest has worn the shoes, the shoe polish is bound to stick to the bottom of the trouser. So these 2 are the basic examples that I can give you for the identification of stain based on the location. The third category is classification of stains. Just now we have learnt about how to go for the procedure of stain removal and how to identify the stain. Now the third one is how do we classify the stains? Classification of stains goes this way. They are classified as animal stains which are caused by the animal products. Example, blood, milk, egg, etc. The second one is vegetable stains, and these are caused by the plant products. Example, tea, coffee, juices, fruits, grass, etc. Third category is the grease stain. These stains are caused due to grease or some pigmented matter with a grease base. Example, glue, gum, etc. Fourth one is mineral stains, and these are caused by the writing ink, medicine, dye, rust, etc. The fifth category is metalloid. Example, iodine tincture. Now, we will go for the next category called as acidic stains. These stains will include perspiration, urine, vomit, vinegar, etc. Next one is base or alkaline stains. Again comes as perspiration and urine, but when it becomes old. Natural dyes and pigments. This class includes stains of henna, tobacco, chocolate, coffee, tea, etc. Synthetic dyes and pigments. This class includes stains like hair dyes, marker stains, watercolors, etc. Sugar solution with coloring matter. These stains are caused by jams, fruit jams, jellies, soft drinks, syrups, etc. And the last category is we have mud and mildew, which does not fall into any of the above categories. So we put them into miscellaneous category. We have understood the procedure, we have understood the classification of stains, and we have understood the steps to be followed. Now we are going into the actual demonstration of the stain removal. To do the stain removal, we need to have certain cleaning agents, which I have already mentioned that reagents to be used. So coming to the first one, we have turpentine oil, and we have surgical spirit, potassium permanganate, and borax powder, methylated spirit, and we have glycerin, we have acetone, and we have oxalic acid. Coming to the reagents, I will be explaining in detail in the due course as to which reagent to be used for which stain. Now I have two bowls of plain water, one bowl of detergent water and one bowl of starch water, where I have already mixed a little bit of starch into it because all the cotton and linen fabric should go for a starch. And I have toothbrushes for doing the stain removal, and I have some plastic bowl to pour the reagents, and then I have a bowl of milk which I will show you in due course why milk is used. I have kept my tissue papers ready, and I have also kept my iron box ready. Now my task starts. Imagine a guest has given you a fabric which has a candle wax. If not the guest, it is bound to receive the tablecloths and the runners with the candle wax, because for candlelight dinner or for whatever purpose we will be seeing that a candle wax falls on the surface. So today we will be learning as to how to remove the candle wax. You can see the candle wax, and as I taught you, that you can touch it and feel the texture of it. So I can easily make out that this is a candle wax. Now this is nail polish stain. Now what I wanted to explain more in detail here is, as we mentioned, the identification of stains goes this way, one by the color. Now please understand, both of the lipstick and the nail polish are the same color, but the next procedure is by the smell. By the smell we can easily make out the nail polish and lipstick. So this is the third one. Next we have a paint stain. Paint, how to remove a paint also I will be teaching you today. Then we have coffee and tea. Both are, the procedure remains the same both both the stains, coffee and tea. Then we have ballpoint and we have shoe polish. The idea of me choosing these stains is, these are the very commonly found stains in the restaurant which comes to the laundry for washing and stain removal. Well students, before going into the actual demonstration, I would like to enhance on certain points here. See, this is a stain which is just formed. Okay, that means half an hour or an hour before. We know that the stain has formed, and immediately the garment is being identified and given for stain removal. Whereas the tea stain which has come to me, we do not know how old it is, whether it is the tea has fallen on the fabric yesterday or day before yesterday. So that means it has become an old stain. So the procedure for old stains is slightly different from the stain that has just been formed. Example, The stain that has just been formed, that is the tea stain. Tea stain is not just been formed. Tea stain is old one, whereas the lipstick stain is just formed. So to soften the stain, we use glycerin. So I am applying the glycerin to soften the stain for 10 minutes. Take a little bit of glycerin and apply it on the stain just to soften. Glycerin is not a stain removal agent. It just softens the stains. So I am just softening the stain and keeping it aside for 5 to 10 minutes. And in the meantime, I will also apply the surgical spirit for the lipstick stain. You can see how the stain is getting removed slowly, but it has to be done with utmost care, ensuring that the remaining fabric is not damaged and the stain is not sticking to the other surface. Do it very carefully. Don't spread the stain all over the surface. Leave it for some more time. Just rub it carefully. And leave it aside. Similarly, the third stain is shoe polish, and shoe polish stains are also very commonly found stains in the laundry department. So for shoe polish, I am applying a little bit of glycerin. Students, to understand, let me explain. Apply glycerin on all the stains to soften. Just to soften the stain so that our stain removal procedure becomes much easier. So on all the stains, I am applying a little bit of glycerin to soften, except the candle wax and nail polish. Leave it for 5 minutes, keep it aside, and then we will go to the further procedure. Right. We have kept the glycerin, we applied glycerin, and we have kept those stains aside for the reaction to take place. And in the meantime, we will be proceeding with the nail polish and the candle wax. Now candle wax, let me tell you the procedure, students. Candle wax, I showed you already. Just scrape it with a blunt knife, which I am already doing it. Remove the texture part carefully, ensuring that the fabric is not damaged. Utmost care has to be taken. Yes, you can see the candle wax scraped off from the fabric, which I am putting it into the dustbin. So we have found a stain, but there is no texture over here. Now what am I going to do? I'll just keep it aside for a couple of minutes, and then in between two tissue papers, and that was the reason why I showed you an iron box and a tissue papers. So these are the two tissue papers, and what am I going to do right now? I'll just put the candle wax stain in between two tissue papers or blotting papers and use a hot iron. Right now this is not hot, so I'll just warm it up and then I'll use the hot iron in between, keeping the stain in between the two tissue papers. So yes, now we can see the warm iron in my hand and the tissue papers and the stain, candle wax stain. I am just using the hot iron and then I am trying to iron it so that the wax is totally gone and the stain is removed. Enjoy the work. Done with iron. Switch off and then remove. It's quite hot. I can feel it, and our stain is totally removed. You cannot find any candle wax stain over here. So we are done with the candle wax stain. Our last stain is nail polish. So we have done with the paint, tea, lipstick, ballpoint and shoe polish. I have shown you the complete removal of candle wax, and then I am showing you the procedure for removal of nail polish stain. Now nail polish stain, as initially I told you, don't apply glycerin because it's already a greased base stain, so don't apply glycerin to soften it. We'll straight away go to the actual removal by using acetone. As we all know, we had been using some kind of a liquid in all our houses. Your moms, sisters, girlfriends will be applying nail polish of different shades, and we know how they use a liquid to have it removed with the help of a cotton. Today we are actually using the same thing, not knowing the name all these days. But by default, the nail polish is always removed with the help of a acetone. So I am taking a toothbrush, a plain toothbrush, apply nail polish. Stain is always removed with acetone. As I told you, please do with care. Applied the acetone and the stain is totally gone. Without damaging the fabric, we could achieve the task. Now what am I going to do? I just dip it in a detergent water. As I mentioned already, this bowl is with a detergent water. Dip it carefully, wash it, rub it carefully, and the care has to be taken also while handling the type of fabric. Are you handling silk? Are you handling cotton, linen, velvet? So it depends on the type of fabric as well. Wash the entire fabric. We also have to remove the detergent water by dipping it in a plain water. One more rinse in one more bowl of plain water to remove the entire chemical that we have used and also the detergent that we have used. Just students, the nail polish stain is completely removed. Now I am going to rinse it thoroughly and then dry it, then iron it. On to the next two stains simultaneously I will teach you. This is a shoe polish stain on which we have applied glycerin. The stain has become softened and we have almost left it for 10 minutes aside, and this is the paint stain. Paint was in yellow color, shoe polish was in black color. Now I am going to take a turpentine as a reagent for these two stains. Simultaneously I am going to clean both the stains. As we all know, turpentine is the main reagent for any kind of paint, whether it is on the floor or on any kind of surface. So similar is the procedure for fabric stain removal. Here I would like to teach you one more thing. This stain may not go off in one go. So repeat the procedure for 2 to 3 times. It may not be possible always to to remove the stain in the first attempt. So repeat the procedure for 2 to 3 times without damaging the fabric. Hope you are all enjoying the stain removal practical, students. Now we will go to the next stain, that is tea stain. Tea stain, we have applied glycerin and kept it aside for 10 minutes to soften the stain. Now this is called as a Gorax powder, which is in a powdered form. Take a little bit, I have opened the cap and taken a very little bit because our stain is not very big. This is the powder and I am adding a little bit of just water to dilute it. Take a toothbrush and make it into a thick paste and apply it on the stain. Rub it slowly, it will go definitely. If it doesn't go in one attempt, okay, then we can repeat the procedure for 2 to 3 times as I already taught you. We have kept the tea stain fabric aside, and as we all know, this stain removal is a continuous process. So keeping that aside, now I am going to rinse the ballpoint and the shoe polish fabrics in the detergent water, and I washed it. You can see the ballpoint stain is completely removed and the shoe polish stain is also completely removed. We made the best of efforts and we could succeed it. So dip it thoroughly, wash it thoroughly, and as I told you, rinse it once again in the plain water. Ensure that the reagents are completely removed, the detergent powder is completely removed. One more time in fresh plain water. The same is the procedure for all the fabrics. Now since it is a cotton fabric, I would like to starch it and then dry it. So the starch powder is already kept ready for me. Dip it twice and then starch. Here the starch that we have used is a ready-made starch, revived starch we have used. So it's a ready-made starch. Take 2 spoons of revived starch, soak it in a little bit of warm water so that the starch will stick to the fabric completely. Now I am drying it for your understanding on the cloth stand. Yes students, we are done. The tea stain is completely removed and the lipstick. So dip it in the plain water 2 times. Rinse it thoroughly. See that the reagent is completely gone and the detergent is completely gone. Dip it twice again. I am washing them together. As I taught you already, the cotton fabrics has to go for a starch. So carefully dip them in the starch powder which is already kept ready made. Dip it. We're almost coming to an end of the stain removal practical. This is a tea stain where we have applied the borax powder and kept it aside for the chemical reaction to take place. And as the procedure goes by, I have dipped it in the detergent water. Every fabric has to undergo the washing process as usual. So I'm just rubbing it vigorously for the stain. The rest of the stain, half of the stain is already gone, but then for the remaining stain to go away. Similarly, this is a lipstick stain, half gone, but there are some traces of lipstick which we can still find out. So I am making some efforts to have that removed with the help of detergent water. Even if it is not gone, as I explained you before, repeat it for 2 to 3 times. Dip it. Fabric, what we followed, how we have dipped it, rinsed it in the detergent water, then a plain water, a second time in plain water, than in starch water. So this is a shoe polish stain, and you can find no traces of shoe polish on this fabric and at the same time we can also learn that none of the fabric is got damaged. So this is how the stain removal should be done in the laundry. So I am drying it, and once it is dried, I will iron it and then give it to the guest. Now I am drying this for your understanding on the cloth stand. This is a cloth stand that we maintain in the laundry for drying our smaller fabrics. Yes, our lipstick stain is gone, tea stain is gone, shoe polish and nail polish are ready. We have done the candle wax before, which was already kept ready, and I have shown the ironing of it. The ironing of starch and ironing of it also has been done, and this is how the fabric will look once the ironing is done and starching is done. So this also I am displaying it for your understanding. Well students, so these are our dried fabrics and these are our washed fabrics. So back to back we had been doing this practical continuously. In the meantime that we were doing this practical, the other fabrics were completely dried, and I have starched it, dried it, and then I have ironed it, so you can see it. So these four are just completed, so they are undergoing the process of drying. Now just to quickly recap of what the practical that we have done. We have understood the general procedure of how to identify the stain, and then the procedure of removal of the stain and how the stains were classified. And these are the reagents that has been used today. Of course, I have not used the potassium permanganate, but I will also explain you why potassium permanganate will be used. Potassium permanganate is the main cleaning agent for curry stain, whereas the turpentine we have used, Gorax powder we have used, glycerin, very important reagent in the stain removal, acetone for nail polish, surgical spirit for ballpoint and lipstick, and now we have used the detergent water, plain water in 2 bowls, and the starch water which we have used, and the knife for scraping away the candle wax. Now let me teach you students the stains that we have not done today also. Chewing gum also you have to scrape off the chewing gum with the help of a blunt knife and soak it in the cold water. Second thing is, interesting part, we have a cup of warm milk. Why are we, for what are we using this warm milk? In the stain removal, we soak the henna stain in the warm milk for half an hour and then launder it. So that is the reason I wanted to teach you why milk is used in the stain removal practical. Hope you all have enjoyed the stain removal students. Catch you up very soon and have a nice day.